Cents Per Mile, featuring Charles Gracie and Paul Gibson, with loads of recruiting and marketing experience and backed by the largest driver audience in the world. We deliver carriers the driver perspective, find solutions, and help make sense make sense.
Thank you for tuning in to Cents Per Mile. I'm your host, Charles Gracie.
And I'm your co-host, Paul Gibson. What are we talking about today, Charles?
That thing that's coming for your job and possibly mine. AI, is it a tool? Is it a tyrant? Are we all going to be unemployed? Are our bosses going to be happier because they don't have to deal with us? And depending on who you are, depends on the answer to that question.
I mean, I think sometimes, I might be missed around the office. But that's, when you're talking about headcount and profitability, maybe not one day. But it's definitely coming for your job. We've already seen some of the stuff.
I actually had someone reach out this week asking me if I would test out an AI recruiter. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm appalled. I'm scared, and I'm not too worried because I've tested them out and they're not there yet.
Yeah, on my end, I've just embraced it, and it's actually a pretty incredible tool, which I think is the concept more often than not currently, but we will definitely get into that, or we'll find out from the experts that we're all screwed. Anyway, so it's time to do the stuff we got to do normally. So we're everywhere. So we are on Apple Podcasts, we're on Amazon Music, we are on YouTube, anywhere you get your podcasts, basically. So if you could go like, subscribe, rate, that helps give us more momentum and allows us to do cooler stuff like what we're going to be doing the next couple weeks.
You can also go to centspermilepodcast.com. You can suggest a topic to be a guest, to bring us to your event, or even to become a sponsor.
Yeah, speaking of events, we've got one coming up. So we got F3, then we got the Broker Carrier Summit, and then after that, we have another one. And I think we have somebody on to talk about it. Who we got, Charles?
We got Polly Trotter here to talk about stars, stripes, and white lines from the Bennett family of companies. Polly, how you doing?
Hey, Charles. How are you guys?
We're excited. I mean, there's a lot of travel ahead, but I'm especially looking forward to your truck show. It's in Atlanta. The last time I was there, I got to race around the track, and it was a great time. So this time I think I'm going to race around the track again.
How fast did you get to go? How fast did you get your truck going last year?
Oh, I wasn't in a truck. I was in a NASCAR. I'm not sure they're going to let me do that in the semi-truck. It's probably against everyone's better judgment to let me do that in the semi-truck.
No, that is a possibility.
Bill clearly isn't going to let me use your guys' race car. I've been asking for years.
Well, we're not going to have that race car there this year at all. So you guys can bring a truck, do a few laps around the track, and let's see how fast you can go.
All right. You said bring a truck. Does my truck count?
What kind of truck do you have?
I got my matte black Widow. I'd love to take that around the track.
We have an open class, so it is not just a truck show. It's a truck show. We're involving Jeeps, motorcycles, other class. Register your pickup in the other class, pay the $100, and do 2 laps around the track. And let's see how fast you can go.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to expense that. I'll send the email to my boss after this.
So what is the, I mean, obviously it's a great time and all of that, but what is the goal of the truck show? What are you guys trying to do?
So our truck show actually benefits Wreaths Across America. We adopted Andersonville National Cemetery in Andersonville, Georgia, and we lay about 20,700 wreaths on the headstones of our fallen soldiers.
So that's pretty honorable cause. It's really important to the industry. We know how deeply ingrained Reese is into trucking. There's a lot going on there. You guys got concerts, you got the truck show, and then you're going to be dropping them balls from the Huey helicopter.
We're dropping the golf balls. We are. You can buy a golf ball for $100 and win, have your chance at winning up to $10,000. We're going to drop them out of a Huey. And there's 2,000 golf balls max that will be dropped out. And last year we had one that was so close to a hole in one that we could have done a little wind blow and it would have fell in. It was really awesome last year. So excited for this year to happen.
So where can people show up for this? Where can they register? And anyone can register with the Washington Park this year. So, I mean, it's pretty exciting.
Yes, the 48 elites that we have invited to come and compete for the professional judge division, that is the only section that is invite only. The rest is Washington Park. You come, you register online at sswltruckshow.com. register your bobtail, register your combo, register your Jeep, motorcycle, other. Come in. It's inside what used to be the Atlanta Motor Speedway, but now it's Echo Park Speedway here in Hampton, Georgia.
You can also go to SSWL to grab your balls. And with that, it is time to go to the news. All right, so it's time for 10-2 News, where we take the most interesting, most relevant, weirdest, really whatever stories we want from the past couple weeks, and we talk about them. So on CDLLife, the headline is, Transportation Secretary says driver in recent coverage about denied CDLs in California had crocodile tears, end quote. So basically ABC 7 News San Francisco did a report with a driver named Vivek Sharma, and what happened is he has been in the US seeking asylum, going through the process, you know, the right way, but he's not like a permanent citizen. He's not a citizen, but he's here legally, but because of the way that they've been handling like non-domicile licenses, he can't renew his. He's been driving for 8 years.
Is it just the renewal process that's the problem? Because I watched that interview.
He also, like, you know, with the English proficiency, isn't great at it, but clearly, you know, passed at some point. But anyway, let me get, you gotta hold on for a second. You're gonna have too much fun with this. Anyway, so Kevin Dalton tweeted it out and said non-U.S. citizens are suddenly not able to renew their CDLs after the Trump administration closed loopholes that Gavin Newsom's California was exploiting. The DOT is signaling out of California for what it calls gross negligence. It says more than 25% of CDLs given to non-citizens or non-permanent residents were improperly issued. Then U.S. DOT Rapid Response said, this driver has been in the U.S. for 10 years in caps and does not know enough English to qualify for a trucking license. This is exactly why Secretary Duffy ordered the FMCSA to crack down on English proficiency standards. Do you want to drive on American roads being able to understand, you know, English? And it goes on. And then your boy Duffy, who has done some cool stuff to his credit, said, crocodile tears for a man who has spent a decade in our country but couldn't be bothered to learn our language. Our new rules would keep you safe and your family safe on America's roads. And all of that, you know, especially with Cynthia Loomis introducing the bill intended to codify all of this. Now, what do you think about that, Charles?
Duffy hit it right on the head. This guy, I watched the video. You asked me to watch it. I watched it. It was painful. You couldn't understand words coming out of this guy's mouth. And yet he's been here 10 years. He's operating 80,000 pounds on the roadway and he can't even speak our language. He can't even be interviewed to tell you his sob story. I mean, come on, man.
I mean, so I don't disagree with you. Obviously, you know, he can, there is a point where I do wonder, because, like, I mean, sure, he like has trouble speaking the language. He clearly can read it because he passed the test. He reads the signs. He's been doing it for 8 years.
You can't say that. I've interviewed multiple people that have admitted to buying their CDLs.
Well, but I mean, so I guess okay, here we go. Maybe that's it. I'm not defending it. I'm not gonna defend it because you're right and they're right. But I will say this. Okay, so this guy's been driving for 8 years, right? 8 years.
That doesn't say anything. You had the guy in Florida from Hope Trans that got rehired after taking out an entire bridge. He didn't just hit it, he collapsed it and then managed to clothesline a minivan in Florida.
But here's my question. Would you rather someone who can't pass the English proficiency test, who has been driving for 8 years, or one of these drivers who's a trainer after 120 days?
Well, all right, you went there. That I looked into. Yes, they can apply to be a trainer after 120 days. And I am as skeptical as the next person on this, but you can't argue with the safety scores. That company is below the industry average in driver fitness and overall safety. So yes, I'm going to go with the 120-day program from the CDL mill.
For the sake of entertainment, I'm going to lower the bar. What about the driver puppy mills? Just the ones that just dump them out.
I mean, 120 days is qualified as a puppy mill.
I mean, but like even before that, even though that's to be a trainer, I'm talking about like one straight out of the mill. like first dispatch by themselves out? Would you rather that or somebody who can't pass the English proficiency test?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm still going to take the mill, because if you remove the chaff that we've seen out there,
but like 8 years though.
Yeah, brother, the industry would rehire a driver that no-showed orientation 3 times. Time does not mean anything in trucking today.
You're not wrong. Especially we talked to, the insurance people a couple weeks ago, and they're like, yeah, a number of jobs doesn't matter to insurance companies. It's like, we still need to bring on a safety director and talk about that. Luckily for them, we'll probably forget because we have like the next few weeks out, doing stuff on the road.
And the news changes every 24 hours.
That is true. There'll probably be something way more pressing by then. And maybe this will be codified if Congress ever, gets back to work, which they may be by the time we record this. And then there's other bigger things that could happen. But that's that, I guess. I just really wanted to ask you really about like the driver straight out of the puppy mill versus this. But I also thought it's pretty on par with Duffy just being like, this guy's having crocodile tears. I think just that also, we don't have to get into it, but just the level at which politicians use the internet now. You want to talk about Donald Trump breaking norms? Look at us now in 2025, and the way, like, between Gavin Newsom, the sombrero stuff, the way politicians are just so informal on the internet is nuts.
It's the day we live in, but we got to get this train back on the tracks. We're going to go behind the desk with Tenstreet. Now it's time to go behind the desk with Tenstreet, and we have our friend Christy Choice, the professional services consultant for Tenstreet, joining us. Christy, how's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. Charles, how are you? Good to be here.
I'm living the dream. Well, up until today. Now we're talking about how AI is coming for all of our jobs, and I'm pretty confident in mine right now. I'm worried about my friend Paul.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Actually, the ad that comes up after this segment, all AI, made it myself. I think it's great.
Well, Paul, I love it how you said, is it a tool or is it a tyrant? Dun, dun, dun. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the one thing, though, I think with video is like, I can see a lot of people being mad that it takes a lot of the art out of it, but like from a like business perspective, brilliant.
I'm not too worried about the art being taken out of it. We just saw a banana duct taped to a wall last year that went for a buttload of money. So, I mean, at this point, AI is a welcome enhancement. But what are you seeing on the trucking side, Christy?
Well, here's the thing. Not all AI is created equal. And at Tenstreet, we have gone through great lengths to make sure that we encourage and deploy the responsible use of AI tools. It's not here to be a tyrant. It's really here to be a tool in many different ways and different forms throughout the Tenstreet dashboard. So if you imagine a tool helping you to do the repetitive tasks that you have to do multiple times a day, eventually it's going to free up your time. So again, in supporting the responsible use of AI, we have really gotten creative with how we, imagine these tools for the industry. The Tenstreet AI tools are specific to trucking. They operate the way we operate and solve problems for everyday carriers.
And I think that's huge, because you're seeing AI be thrown around out there today, like algorithm was tossed around like 5 years ago. And it's confusing. It's a lot of noise and it's a buzzword out there, but we've seen AI dispatchers, AI recruiters, AI data analysts. We've seen a lot of different integrations into the systems that we have in trucking and providing solutions through AI, but not all of them are created equally. Some of them have to learn still and have to advance before they're useful enough for us to justify the cost.
For sure, for sure. And I mean, just like we are talking about here, those repetitive tasks that you do every single day, if something else, AI, were to take them away from you, give you the freedom to make more meaningful connections. So AI recruiter, what? No, it frees me to have meaningful conversations on the recruiting end with folks who really want to converse with a real person. I have been some places, and I remember this guy, he had his phone and he's like, oh, see, listen, it sounds like a real person. I'm like, yeah, but that's the old bait and switch. Who wants that? Nobody wants that. We want to take all of the data that we have access to and give you power back in your day and really make it useful so that you can see the efficiencies and the gains, all the returns on that investment. So yeah, we're excited about AI. It's all about AI. We'll probably not stop talking about it.
Well, AI and tariffs us are at a battle for what's going to be the word of the year in 2025.
Yeah. I think tariffs might take it though, seriously.
It might take all of it.
I think it depends on when that bubble pops.
Yeah, pun intended, right?
No, but that's exciting stuff. If people want to find out what's going on in Tenstreet with AI, where can they find you guys?
Okay, so we just recently published a blog post. So if they go to tenstreet.com/blog, it is the first article that's going to pop up. But they can also reach out to their Tenstreet point of contact. And if they don't know who that is, then they can just go ahead and submit a form on the website to talk to someone at Tenstreet. But yeah, we'd love to have a conversation about AI and all the wonderful tools that we have that are powered by AI that's going to help them do their business even better.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Get ready for the Stars, Stripes, and White Lines Truck Show, November 7th and 8th at Echo Park Speedway in Hampton, Georgia. Jeeps, motorcycles, and show trucks so shiny you can check your freedom in the reflection as the biggest and baddest big rigs from across the nation battle it out for the title of World's Most Beautiful Truck. Hear the ripping riffs of trucker turned country star Tony Justice. This show's got balls, hundreds of them, and we're going to drop them from a Huey military helicopter to support wreaths across America and a chance to win $10,000. If this doesn't excite you, you might as well move to Canada. So start your engines and we'll see you there.
All right, so it's time to make sense. And I actually, the other night couldn't sleep, and I was actually trying to make sense. In talking, in inputting into like ChatGPT and like the idea of like a lot of people are afraid of sentience of AI and it growing to become like its own thing. And essentially the response that it generated for me was like, no, what AI is a mirror. Whatever you put in is whatever it's going to give out. Now, eventually the stuff that it could mirror and put out could be crazy, so it's like if humans put in, destruction and terrible stuff, I mean, the mirror is going to show that. And that's, I think, where you get into like crazy. Anyway, that's theory. Who am I? We've got some experts. Charles, who we got to talk about this?
We got Nick and Bobby, and they've been instrumental in the development of CDLLife. You guys have developed all the cool stuff under the hood that keep it moving and keep it growing. I couldn't think of two better people to have as part of a conversation when it comes to AI. So, Nick, quick, brief introduction on your role within CDLLife.
Yep. Hi, my name is Nick Schappler. I lead our customer success team and the product and engineering team at CDLLife.
And then we got Bobby. Bobby, if you mind introducing yourself real quick.
Sure. I'm Bobby Thompson. I'm the former Chief Product and Technology Officer at CDLLife. I'm on the board now and involved in that capacity.
All right. So when we're talking about AI, I mean, it is a word that's flung around quite frequently nowadays. Everyone's trying to use it at some level, but not all people are using it correctly, and not all AI is actually AI. So how do we sort through this mess first off to define what is AI?
Go ahead, Bobby. That's you.
I think it's funny because so much of machine learning just got rebranded as AI in 2021, and I don't know if it matters, right? It's at some point we're just on this like escalating race of computers being able to do more than they could do beforehand. And, it used to be very heuristic, like, if something do this, and it's getting more, I guess the term would be non-deterministic, where if you put something in, you don't quite know what you're going to get out. I think that change is really where people started rebranding it. But that's existed in machine learning for a little while now. And I think what's going to end up happening is our experience with computers is going to become less and less deterministic, where you get exactly what you asked for, or the software tools you use or websites you go to are not going to be the same for everybody. It's just going to be a little bit weirder, a little bit more unique, a little bit more personalized.
Can it get weirder?
It can. Yeah, it will.
Well, that's encouraging. So when we're talking about AI's use in trucking, we're seeing it, I don't want to use the term invade, but we're seeing it be included in all aspects of trucking. Like if I go back 2 years, I would never imagine seeing an AI dispatcher. I even personally got to test out an AI recruiter, which was absolutely horrific. It said the one phrase in American language that you should say in no work setting ever. And it said it on repeat. It was its default when it didn't know what to say. And it said, sorry, that's not my job. And I'm like, what?
It was still terrifying. That was the first time I ever heard an AI like actually breathe in between like sentences. It was like, well, and I was like,
I handed it off for testing beyond my recruiters and beyond myself. We handed it off to Mike Lombard, and he gave it the old owner operator one too. And the thing actually broke, so you couldn't ask it any question without it saying, "Sorry, that's not my job." And I'm like, "Okay, my job's marked safe."
yeah, you three-way called me and didn't tell me what we were doing, and I just thought I was talking to a bad recruiter.
I think everyone's worried. Everyone's worried about AI, coming to take jobs in trucking. And while I think that's a valid fear, what I think is going to happen is it's not going to replace people in trucking. It's going to, people who use AI effectively are going to replace people who do not use AI effectively for what it's used for, right? And the main thing in trucking is, we're looking for automation, we're looking for intelligence, we're looking how to make smarter decisions. So your capacity to use AI to make better decisions for the business is going to differentiate you from another human who is only relying on, their God-given talents, and that's it, right?
And trucking's been looking for intelligence for some time, so I think it's a welcome change to the industry and enhancing the experience, not only for the people working in the jobs, but also the people that we're serving in the industry. We've seen some very useful cases of AI making very impactful changes to the industry already. And there's AI working in the background a lot of people don't know about. Like we're talking about the AI dispatchers, like the guys at Hey Bubba, fantastic mascot, great product. Looking forward to seeing them more. We're seeing it on the front end in the recruiting, but what they're not talking about is the stuff that's happening on the back end and the data analytics, the optimization, the route planning. So what's some of your guys' experience with that part and where people aren't necessarily seeing it every day?
We've got Axel.
That's right. We got Axel. Yeah. I mean, a lot of things, right? I mean, for me, it's reducing waste. I think in trucking, there's going to be opportunities to improve safety using AI, making smarter decisions across every single part of AI. But for me, what I found so far, at least, I think it's a really good tool for blank canvas problems. When you're looking for idea generation, coming up with ideas just to start, I think it's great. It's very efficient for repetitive tasks or even things that you're not an expert at. If you need a formula in Excel to do something, it's a great way to get 90% of the way there and you can fill in the gaps, right? What it's not great for, I think you can't replace the human touch with it, right? We've all seen this where people, if you want to send an email and you just use ChatGPT, you can tell, right? And if you want to actually send a message to drivers to show your appreciation, if you're using ChatGPT for that, you're going to fall flat on your face, right? Use it as a tool that gets 80% of the way there, and then make sure you're using your human abilities to fill in the remaining 20% and actually do the job and finish the task.
Now, are you seeing it helpful in some of the more tedious things that people maybe fail to connect with? Like I used it the other day for a slideshow presentation where I put all my bullet points in and stuff like that. And then I had it generate that, and it did it in 3 minutes where I would have been on Canva for at least an hour and a half. But what about some of the marketing side of things? We see a lot of people, not everyone's got the same creative itch that others have. Are you seeing it be very useful on those fronts?
Yes and no, right? So people are using it for marketing, but I think it's like the great amplifier of everything. You can go faster. So if you use it and do it poorly, you'll make more bad advertisements. If you use it and do it well, you'll make more good advertisements. And so in some ways, it's like it's gonna separate the difference between people that add that human touch that Nick talked about and people that don't. There's gonna be people that use it well, people that use it poorly, people that don't use it right. It's creating this like giant gap where a lot of businesses used to be closer in how they performed and operated.
Charles, you've touched on this in the past too. Like if you throw out creatives that are showing European trucks in the United States, like drivers spot that in a millisecond, right? Or you're using a copy that is clearly coming from an AI who hasn't spent time in the trucking industry. All those things matter a ton to marketing and performance. So you have to have the human oversight, at least in today's version of how we use these tools to be successful.
So from a business perspective, like if you're, I guess that's the thing too with it being like, learned, like it learns what you teach it, right? So I do wonder, especially ideating things or getting started or processes and improvements, if it learns and you're using an AI product that multiple of your competitors are using and it's learning from all of your competitors as well. So do you think that like would even the playing field, or do you think that like outside of the human touch, do you think that would like kind of almost make everything start to like kind of level out and become similar?
I think that it, if everybody starts using ChatGPT to make their advertisements and graphics, right, all of a sudden they'll all perform horribly because the whole purpose of advertising is to stand out, right? And so I think Paul's question is right, but I think that there will be people that use this stuff to find a leg up, and there will be people that use this stuff to just match the median, and I think it's going to create bigger gaps.
Yeah, and just to pile on that, I mean, a lot of business today is predicated on a bias toward action. Like those who are taking action the quickest and moving and shaking grow, and they can adapt quicker, right? And I think that makes a lot of sense. The risk to all of this is, like you said, Paul, it's based on the data you gave it. Data quality in is data quality out. So you're going to feed garbage data or historical knowledge that we have. Everything is based on that. So where's ChatGPT not great for today? It's the things we've never done before, the new discoveries, the creative approaches that humans can bring to the table. Yes, in cases like drug discovery and stuff, AI is really good at using the rules that we know to find new drugs. But I'm talking about like revolutionary ways of thinking, new marketing techniques. AI based on our historical knowledge is not going to help us solve that today.
And that checks out. Now we're seeing it. Our use internally is on the analytics side and the optimization side. You see some people using it in the marketing. You see some people using it in call centers and interaction based. Where do you think AI is going to make the biggest impact in trucking for reducing costs, helping with optimization, and just generating a better overall experience?
I personally think it's this is a generic answer, but I mean, you can kind of think of it as Iron Man, right? You can use a tool like this AI copilot, this AI agent to, like Bobby said, accelerate all of your decision making, increase the quality of all of the decisions you're making. So it's really not like there's one specific area that AI can accelerate. It's everything you do can be enhanced using the tools effectively, but you have to be responsible with that.
Right. So I think that to the point, what I think is going to happen is it's not like AI is going to solve one problem. It's going to be that somebody who wants to, or a group of people who want to solve a problem, will be able to do it faster and better than they could have done before. And so it might not even be a specific AI problem. It's that people can move faster, people can build more, and people can solve better problems. So we might solve problems we couldn't have done 5 years ago for the cost, right?
So now we use AI internally. You guys want to talk about our use of AI and where we're seeing it be implemented here to have a better experience and better product for our clients?
Sure, yeah. We're really proud of the work we've been doing with CDL Connect Pro, which is CDLLife's new driver recruiting engine. It's a platform we've developed. AI is at its core. I think one of the really promising technologies that we've been developing there is our driver journey engine. And this is really an iteration of things that you've seen like drip marketing in the past, where they're one size fits all communication methods. But for us, we notice every driver is unique. Every driver has their own preferences on how they communicate with carriers, and they're at a different journey in their life cycle of their career and how they work with carriers. So we're taking an AI approach to find the right messaging, the right communication, the right medium, the right time, make all those decisions at scale. We have 1 billion annual touch points with drivers. Humans cannot make that decision efficiently on every single billion outreaches that we have. And that's really the core of CDL Connect Pro and what we do in helping carriers drive as many hires as they can for the marketing budgets that they spend with CDLLife.
Now, one thing I've noticed in the recruiting side of things is a lot of times a lot of decisions are made off guts or feelings. One of the things that most excites me about this platform and this product is it provides a solution to that. We no longer have to just rely on systems that might be expert in categorizing or cataloging entries, but not necessarily in marketing, where ours doesn't discriminate. It looks at the data. It's looking at that specific component that's been missing in the recruiting process and the analytics of that process for so long. What made you guys decide that that's the realm that you guys wanted to go hop in and get your feet wet in?
Bobby, you want to chime in here?
Sure. I think that if you've ever applied to a trucking job and kind of taken the experience afterwards, or and seen the number of emails and texts and calls and how it plays out, and I know you guys did a segment where I think Charles applied to like 30 companies, right?
One. Yeah.
I got 30 companies reach out, right?
Yeah, just I put his number in a job board.
I think that it's the the way you have to optimize, or from a marketing perspective, getting a driver from the point of applying to the time that they get in a seat is still a marketing problem, right? And you can't just badger them every 5 minutes with a call. You can't badger them every day with a text. And I think that the reason we ended up doing this was not because of AI, but but AI allows you to do stuff you couldn't do before. Charles, you've recruited for a long time. If you look at a driver and see the pattern of emails and texts and calls, you might have a pretty good idea what to do because you've seen it a bunch, but you don't have the ability to go study each person in every situation and every set of touch points, right? Nobody has that time.
I'd have no time to do anything else.
Right. And so the idea is, if we can take a little brain basically and embed it into that decision making that takes what Charles would have known or what our data shows, we can basically add that intelligence at that point and make a custom marketing experience until the driver gets in the seat, which might be a month, it might be 6 weeks, it might be 6 months, right? They applied, they were interested. Oh shoot, I got some family stuff going on. That doesn't mean you're never going to work there, right? So let's go on pause. We'll come back, that kind of stuff.
So real quick, before we go, and I just want to go around, and even you, Charles, I want to ask, because we're all at different levels of management, from middle management, which would be me, all the way up to like Bobby's just doing board stuff now, Nick, you're C-suite, Charles, you're an executive. Like, I want to ask, because a lot of people are worried AI is going to replace all the jobs, right? That's either true or it's not true, or it's somewhere in the middle. I guess at what point, in the pyramid, do you feel like it stops where people should be worried? Like, is it like entry level? Do you think it'll really replace all the entry level jobs and stuff like that? And then if that is the case, that it will do a lot of that, what suggestions do you have to people that you think could be in kind of the danger zone? Because, like you said, innovation is important. Not every job requires innovation. Some jobs are menial and repetitive. The people in those situations, what suggestions would you maybe have to them to navigate that, if you feel that they're at risk or not?
I think the biggest risk would be entry level, people who haven't worked somewhere before, or maybe they're starting their career, coming out of college or something, because I think there's a lot of those like first few years of learning that people are now automating. I don't think it really changes much past that. And so it's like, how do you get over that hump if you haven't learned before? I think there's going to be opportunities and people will find them, but I think that's going to be a little trickier than it's been in the past. For anybody else, I would say just be ambitious, try things. Don't try things willy-nilly without talking to your boss or whatever. But there's so many opportunities out there now that you could just do what you're doing better, and do what the company's asking you to do better. And nobody is going to get rid of you if you do what you're doing better.
Right. And I think if you're somebody who's doing super repetitive tasks where you think, hey, someday a robot can do this, that's where you should be worried, Paul, to your point. But I think it's an opportunity for those people, because I mean, everyone, no matter what level you are in your career, what you've done in the past, I mean, we're born to be more than just machines on an assembly line, right? We are creative people. We can problem solve. We create tools. That's how humans have advanced throughout the history of our existence on this planet. So I really think for those people, it's an opportunity to reach their full potential and figure out what they can be doing to contribute to the growth of the company they're at or some other company if their job is displaced. And we've seen this a lot with software. So Bobby and I both came from the software realm. And as Bobby mentioned, entry-level folks in software, a lot of the junior developers, they'll do things like scaffolding. They'll set up a code base, but then the senior people will come in and put in the complicated logic. The setting up of the code base, that's the repetitive task. That's what AI now can do in 30 seconds. And so a lot of companies don't need to hire their junior folks anymore. They can use AI for the setup, and then they still need all the seniors that they can get to go fill in the complicated logic and get things done.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, to Bobby's point earlier, I think it's going to change how people communicate in the workplace. I think you're going to look at these things as enhancements, and it's going to force people to get outside of their comfort zone to utilize those enhancements. Otherwise, that gap is going to be increased, and they might not be as useful as they once were. But I think it's also going to change how we communicate. I don't think the same leadership qualities and employer seeked qualities in an employee are going to be the same couple years. We're going to be looking for people that not necessarily can communicate just in an office setting, but can communicate in a prompt setting and effectively, because it's going to be driving the effective results from the AI.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, it's going to be interesting to navigate I am excited and terrified to see where it all goes. But yeah, thanks for coming on, guys. But we are about out of time.
Well, Paul, that was some great stuff, but we got to roll. So till next time, thank you for tuning in to Cents Per Mile. I'm your host, Charles Gracie.
And I'm your co-host, Paul Gibson. See you next time.